as we promised. Here's Di and Todd.
You
How's
have reached
everyone
the
doing?
maximum time permitted for recording your message.
That's...
If you're satisfied with the
You
message,
know what, Di? I
press
think we were
1.
leaving
To
you a
listen to your message,
voicemail.
press 2. To erase
That's
and
okay.
re-record.
That's fine. Okay, there we go. How's everyone doing?
Hey, Todd.
Very well. Hi, Todd. Hi, Taryn.
Hi, good to see y'all again. I'm sorry, I think I look kind of black here. Can y'all see me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
There's sun behind you.
I know I've got the bright green shirt on, so that should... how are you both doing out there today? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you, Taryn? Good seeing you this morning.
You too, and how about yourself, Di? How's everything going?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Feeling good.
Good. Excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us. And as we were talking about last time we chatted, we were talking about all the craziness going on, the election and the coronavirus and everything else. So here we are, 2 weeks from now. I'll put both of you on the spot. If you had to put money on it, who's going to take it on November 3rd?
I don't think about it.
Oh, please.
And what about...
I think it's a total toss-up. I really do.
Yeah,
I mean, we can hope. I think we can all hope. But I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen. I really don't. You know, now there's talk about putting away, Gretchen Whitner and lock her up. Could it get any crazier?
Oh, wow.
I mean, could it get any crazier? So, and we have people talking about, I'm going to say people, talking about and not giving an answer. Would they leave the White House?
Yeah.
No matter what the result? We don't know. We really don't know. So, I don't know how the energy could be any worse. I don't know how things could be any crazier. And Todd and I were just talking about this. So, flip a coin. It's anybody's guess.
Yeah.
But I've already voted.
Oh, good. Oh.
I've already voted. And I only had to stand in line for an hour. I think that's pretty darn good. And I was happy to do it.
No, that's really, really good. How about, Todd, did you get to vote yet? Or you were telling me the other day?
Yeah, we did by mail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Todd. I'm crossing my fingers for you, young man.
Oh, yeah.
Crossing my fingers.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh. I know. I hope they get yours, Todd.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hope it doesn't, as our president says, I hope it doesn't end up in the river.
Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible.
Listen to us. Oh, that's fine. I mean, obviously, there is no fraud in mail-in voting. There is only fraud in the imagination of this particular person. Although I did see people interviewed at one of his rallies, and he did say, this young man, he did say that if Biden wins, it's fraudulent. If Trump wins, it is not. And the gentleman who was interviewed said, you realize Trump votes by mail. And the young man said, huh? And the interviewer said, once again, do you realize our president votes by mail? And the young man said, he does? And the interviewer said, yes, he does. And the young man replied, oh, well, that's different. So
wow.
This is the thinking on their part, that if the Democrats win, it was because they did it fraudulently. If the Republicans win, it's because it was done properly. That the Republicans should win because they will do it properly. So what's going to happen? I don't think anybody knows. Really, I don't think anybody knows. And then we have a woman being appointed to the Supreme Court. Come on, it's going to happen. And who knows how she will vote on this if push comes to shove.
Oh.
So she's a very interesting judge.
Yeah.
A very interesting judge.
Wow.
And she's scary. I mean, I'm not going to mince words. Looking at her voting record, it's like goodbye everything that Americans actually believe in. If you do polls, goodbye what Americans actually believe in.
Huh.
So, I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm frightened. So, she will surprise me if she, in fact, upholds what Americans have said in majority they believe in. So, we'll see. But so that's why the energy is so nuts right now. It's so crazy, and it's so negative, and it's so up in the air. And Todd, you're being very quiet. I don't know. I don't know how you're feeling about this. You're being very quiet because I'm talking so much. Once again, so please add to the conversation.
Do you guys mind? This is Rick. Do you want to check in and make sure you guys are okay?
Hey, no, Rick, come on, sit down.
Hey, Rick. How are you doing?
Hey, are you Taryn?
Good to see you.
Come closer to Todd. I like it when you join in.
I just was making sure you guys were okay technically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are we okay?
Yeah, definitely.
I know last time you were having some technical issues. It looks like you got them all under control right now. You're on your computer and everything.
I am.
Yeah, it's
I'm
finally working out. Yeah, this is good.
And Taryn, you're okay too?
Yeah. Last time we had Christy on here, Christy Uyghur.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and I'm sorry, I just was listening to your very interesting conversation you were saying about that. Sounds like you're in a good dissertation of the state of things. Right, Todd?
Right. Well, I'm a junkie. And, one of the things that I thought I'd do with my next column, and you guys have to read my most recent column, because it's about what we're going to take forward that became habits during COVID. And I'm calling them the COVID keepers. The keepers that we're going to take forward from this experience. And I talk about 5 different keepers that we've been doing that we're probably and maybe going to take forward with us. And some of them, maybe not, because the reality is we might want to let them go. But my next column is going to be about looking at what's been going on and trying to think about what we're grateful for that have happened and things that, that we've come up with as we've been in close quarters and we have learned from people. And I've decided that one of the things that I'm really grateful for is that I have a husband who has been real tolerant and is kind of like, has learned to just let it go when I'm stomping around the house about politics. Because I am so into checking my phone first thing in the morning, checking my phone all day long, and checking my phone before I go to bed. And I don't get nuts all day, but I do get nuts about certain things. And I'll be, walking through the house, and I'll want to announce these things to him. And he's, he'll just keep eating his apple or eating his cookie or reading his magazine. And he has gotten to the point where he understands that's the way I'm going to be. And he just lets it go off his.
Can you hear us okay? Do you think, when you ask about COVID, I was going to ask you if you don't mind me asking, do you think because we've been more isolated, used to be we would talk about like minds would get together, you could vent stuff, or you could talk about, how you feel about politics or Donald Trump or whatever. But now it seems to be coming, all of our stuff seems to be coming through the lens of the media or social media, but not so much getting together with friends and having dinner with like minds. So do you feel like people have become a little more isolated they're facing less and more than silos. I mean, we still have our technical communication, but I remember like Todd and Taryn at the gym talking about this stuff, and people don't seem to have that outlet as anymore. Do you think that's been part of the reason why people feel frustrated because they haven't had this place to commune about it?
Oh, I think that's definitely very true. Definitely. One of the things that I've seen the most frustration in is with my single friends, because they are really feeling isolated, whether they're on their social media or on the phones. They are very, very, very feeling very emotionally in a difficult situation. And I have 3 friends in that situation right now, and it's been very hard for them because they do not feel comfortable venturing out because they're older. They're older than I am, and they feel like it's dangerous for them to be out, and they're spending most of their time inside. They don't want to socialize because, and quite honestly, they have a valid point. So, yes, the social media is great, but on the other hand, social media right now, there is so much negativity on it, so that's not helping them. Right. Not really. And I have one girlfriend who's finally said, I cannot handle the junk on social media. I just have to stay off it. And yet, they want to be on it. The too. Their friends are what they're doing, but then there's all that junk, word, that's mixed in with that, and it's very hard not to pay attention to it. I personally have quit doing social media. Period. I've quit it. I'd rather read hard news than see that junk that's going around, and all the lie, and all the who would you rather vote for, the old guy or the guy who's on for. I just don't even want to go because there's no substance in it at all.
What do you mean when you start news? What is that? How do you define that?
What I define that as is news from credible sources, and news that is more than just a headline, that actually explains what's going on, headlines, and then news that will tell you exactly what that headline's about and where it's from, and get the daily news from those sources. So, and I can go and I can actually news through links. And I am one of those that seeing is believing. And
do you think a lot of your friends that are isolated you're talking about, they're only getting it from I don't want to say, my parents are totally into Fox News echo chamber. And so, but they're isolated. They're sitting at home. They don't want to get out because they're older. And so, but that's all they watch. That's all they watch. And so, I can tell it's had a profound effect on. We've had to limit our conversations and stuff like that. Do you find that happened because of COVID? Because we've been so isolated. Have you found people gravitating towards just one? Like you sound like you're trying to get an open mind, but do you think people are sort of aligning themselves to just single news sources and becoming more polarized because they don't? I mean, it's just where they go to, like their go-to news or whatever.
That's half the country. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think, and then you have a big part of the country that doesn't do the news at all. Clearly, is not doing news at all. And they have opinions that are based on nothing but their gut feeling. And that is one that bothers me personally more than anything. I don't want to hear somebody talk about how somebody's terrible who doesn't even read the news.
Right.
That's based on hearsay. That's based on their plan. And I say that because I have a brother who's that way. And also, I'll ask him now, are you voting? Oh, no, I don't vote. So he doesn't know the news, but he has strong opinions. He has very strong opinions about, and I'll just say to him, I am not interested in your opinions. Not only do you not read the news, but you don't vote. What the hell? You know,
do you think his opinions, like, so where does he get his opinions from if he's not watching the news or whatever?
He usually gets it from the internet. He's one of these. He's one of these that reads all the baloney on the internet, and it fires him up. But he's not a doer. He just gets totally. He's not a doer. He just gets totally and completely fired up by all the junk on the internet. But he's not a doer. So I just have to, hear about all the junk he has to say. Put it this way: he probably follows QAnon, which, by the way, is
like a Proud Boy or QAnon.
I don't know. But,
right.
He believes that Hillary is running, the child molestation rate.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing that I was going to ask you. So, because you were talking about people isolated in this, and you just used the word clan. And so I've thought about the word tribe a lot. So does it sound like people that they're not looking to get fresh ideas. They're almost like prosecutors looking for facts to reinforce what they've already decided they want to believe.
Yes,
What I find interesting is, how did they get to that point in the first place? How did they decide they wanted to believe Hillary was a child molester, or Donald Trump really did make the economy, which he didn't. That's what my dad believes. My dad believes that Donald Trump made this economy. And I go, Dad, he really didn't make this economy. He inherited it, like he inherited his millions.
Right.
But you can't convince them of that. They've already decided it. So that's this stumble I get myself against, is they've already created this idea, and I'm kind of curious, why did you come to that? Why can't I just show you this data, and as a reasonable person, you go, oh, this makes sense. I should think about this, but they don't. They're like a prosecutor, or that are prosecuting for their tribe. And I keep on wondering, how does this happen? Is it because we're so isolated now, or I don't know. You seem to have good theories about this stuff, but I'm kind of wondering how this tribalism has really gotten so solidified.
Everybody has the need to belong.
Yeah.
And they will grasp what is happening around them unless throughout their lives they have determined that there is another way. But you'll find that it's passed down usually through families. And it's like, I'm going to use an example that is very, very controversial. Although most Americans, almost 70%, believe that this particular issue should be a personal decision, and that's abortion.
Right.
And there are two sides to it, and I get it. But it's a great example of a decision that is opposed because it is something that is drummed into you by your family. And many, many, many of these opinions are because your family has told you this is the way you will believe.
Right.
So if you have a conversation about these things and you dig deeply, you will find out that this was what my mom believed. This was what my father believed. And in talking to psychologists, true PhD psychologists, you will find that they will tell you that, particularly on something about the abortion issue, that the serious believers were indoctrinated into this. And I'll use indoctrinated because they literally were told that this is wrong from the time they were small children. And the ones that go on to do terrible things about it and are radical about it were really indoctrinated into the hatred of those who believe in it. Right. So it really is familial thing. Now, I came from a family who were not indoctrinating that into us when we were young and we were children, and they accepted that this was something that women might choose. So I grew up believing in choice.
But you say, but most of it, so this, but well, first of all, abortion is this sort of what I call this overriding belief. Like, a lot of my family, you could talk about other issues, but finally when they get back to abortion, that overrides everything. All of a sudden we can have health care or all these other issues that are important. But eventually, if I find them, get them back to, they'll get back to abortion. And because one party has convinced themselves, which they're not really are, that they're, against abortion, then they've got to align with them. And they just have to put up with the other crap because this is the most important thing.
Yes.
It's what I call an override issue. It overrides everything.
Very good. Yes, you're absolutely right. Because that is an issue that goes so deeply that they cannot and will not change. 70%, it's about 67% of the American public believes that should be an individual decision for each woman. But if you interview people who believe that it should not be allowed, they will tell you, I can't stand Trump, but I will vote for him. I think he's wrong on this, this, and this, but I will vote for him because he is going to get rid of the ability to have an abortion.
Which is, and that's override. It overrides everything. And they're like holding their nose, voting for this guy, but the funny thing is, it's not really true. Once again, because I'm like a data person, if you start looking at, if you're an anti-abortion person, then you should love Bill Clinton. Because the abortion dropped dramatically under his presidency, and it hit an all-time low under Obama. But then you present those anti-abortion people those facts, then they just kind of like, oh well, I don't know if I believe that, or they just immediately get into the tribal mode, almost.
Right, exactly. They do, and it's funny because they will also refuse to give women birth control or any. What's wrong? You won't give women birth control, and yet abortion will be illegal.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. Because you can't have birth control, but you can't have abortion. Right. Are you still there?
Out. Help us out. Hello. So, hello.
Yeah, can you hear us now? It's like we lost you for a second.
It flickered out there. Are you guys both there? You can hear me, can't you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
Are you getting Diane? Seems like we're getting her. We're getting kind of freeze frame every now and then.
No. I heard that. I mean, I totally.
I'm here.
Yeah, it's. You're right. You're absolutely right.
When I end up talking to them about it, the thing I try to tell them, because it always gets back to their faith. They always get back to this, and sort of ties in with their Christian faith. And I'm like, my term I ask them is, well, the Bible says go to the world and preach the gospel. It doesn't say go to the world and form political action groups to force people to follow the gospel. And they do that for everything else. They preach against adultery. They preach against all this other stuff.
Right.
But for some reason, they outsource this evangelism to the government. I said, well, then, if you're against abortion, go preach against it. Do what Jesus said and let women decide. But for some reason, it's gotten totally out of balance with this one issue. And it's odd. It's such a passionate issue because as a Christian, I can understand their faith. I respect their rights. As a Christian, it's wrong. But now they're trying to use that to force it out. They use it, the government, to try to force other people to do that. But with this one thing, they're not trying to use the government to force people to not have adultery or whatever, all the other things they preach against. They just use the government for this, or gay marriage. They're on that one too. But,
that one's going to go away as well. It's going to go away. Now, maybe not gay marriage, but the rights for the gay and alternative, community, the rights, they're going to go away as well.
Is it the Supreme Court?
The Supreme Court, yeah.
Do you think
any of those, they're going to go away because she comes from an extremely conservative religious background. There is going to be no tolerance in this Supreme Court.
Right.
They're really, and the problem is they are not going to be able to put their political ideologies aside. She keeps saying, I am, what does she call it? She strips the Constitution down, originalist.
She's an originalist, yes, which is kind of crazy.
Which, you know, the founders wanted that document to be flexible, to reflect what happens in our culture. And you cannot apply it to current standards and say, oh, well, but it says this. Well, that's not our culture anymore. And the founders even said that about it. We need a document that's flexible enough to reflect what happens to our culture.
Right.
So, and she keeps saying, well, an originalist, I look at it as what it says. So this is going to be in this, you know, it says nothing about gays. It says nothing about it. So she could go in and say, well, there is no such thing as gay rights in the Constitution. They don't mention gays.
Right.
So, but you know, what I have read and what I've seen is that the problem is those who are evangelical and fundamentalist Christians see the problem is they believe that their Christian rights are being suppressed because they can't hate and not accept gays and lesbians and transgenders and abortion. They believe their rights are being trampled on. And we see it as our rights being trampled on. See, and in us having our rights to be gay and to have abortions, they see that as their rights being discriminated against.
So that becomes a big question. Actually, if they want to hate gays or so think gay marriage is wrong, I support their right to believe that. You know, they can believe it all day long. Where I have the disconnect is like, why do you need the government to pass a law to force other people? Why? What protection do you need? Like, if you want to write a blog and talk about gays are evil and all that, I support your right to do it. Do it. Go ahead. And there's nothing stopping them. They have the right. They have the right to do that. The area where I get disconnected with them is when they say, like, but we need to have a constitutional amendment banning gay marriage to protect our rights. Why?
Right.
I mean, you need a I mean, you can still go hate gays all you want to. You can hold rallies against this. That's fine. You have the right to do that. Why do you need to pass a law?
Right.
That's where I disconnect from it from. And I
can't. Right. Because they do not want to have to serve you in a restaurant. They do not want to have to sell you a product. They do not want to have to tell you that you that you can't come in, or they do want to be able to tell you that you can't come in to their restaurant. They want to be able to exercise the right to tell you that you cannot be in their presence or use their services or buy their products. They believe they need that constitutional right.
But wasn't that the argument about the civil rights? Was it that in the 60s, didn't they originally argue like, this is my business. I should have to serve black people if I don't want to. And then they used the Bible by saying black people were the cursed race of Ham's descendants, and so they were cursed. But wasn't the argument?
But the argument against that was that, well, these people are not blacks. That was the argument against it. They said this is not this issue, and we can't apply it to gays because it's a different issue. That was the reasoning for those who were against it, and that is what she can also do and say. And if everyone agrees with her, it goes away. But yes, which is really, really, totally ridiculous. But that was their reasoning. That this is not the same issue.
Can't the Supreme Court, though, the thing that we hear they're going to do in the gay community is they're going to try to change it where it goes back to the states. Like, gay marriage is now a state-related thing. It's
Well,
just
they
as
could
abortion.
definitely.
Yeah,
they
but
could
so all of a sudden now we're back to where you got married in Massachusetts, so you're the Supreme Court said then if you were married in Massachusetts, then it's recognized everywhere. And what they're trying to do is what she's trying to do with Alito is try to reverse it and say no, it really should be a state thing. That's what they're going to try to do, isn't it?
Right. Well, and that's what it was, and she could certainly do that. She could kick it back where it was, and yeah, and in Texas where that clerk refused to marry that one couple, remember, and they filed a lawsuit, and then that probably is what went to the Supreme Court. One of them went to the Supreme Court, obviously, and won. But no, that's exactly what she can do. And honestly, if she does that, at least you can still get married in states. But it goes back to what it was. Yes.
Right. Which is crazy.
Yes.
I had friends going to Massachusetts to get married. And then they came back to Georgia. I had a friend who had kids that they adopted. Well, he couldn't transfer another state because in the other state, the kids couldn't have gay parents, so they actually couldn't even take a job because of that.
Yes.
I mean, it's undue hardship. That would
Yes.
be
Oh, it certainly does. There's no question about it. But they don't care. And if you say that, it's like, what do you mean? I mean, people get nuts. I have been very vocal about issues where it becomes something that really is not a fair decision. And I will say something to the effect of, well, they don't care. And that drives people nuts. The idea that I should think they don't care. And yet they've made a decision that creates a hardship for somebody. It's very, very interesting to me. So, yes, but you did something.
So Terrence telling us that he's running out of recording time.
I see something.
It's
there
about to
that's
cut,
saying
guys. We're gonna have to continue to do a part 2. I can't believe 30 minutes flew by so fast, but that was excellent.
I
I hope you guys don't mind me jumping
I'm
in.
gonna stop it here. No, this is perfect.
But,
I'm gonna.
well, here's the
It's
thing.
about to hang up.